All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. And today we're talking stable coins,
Ooh, yeah,
which is
stablecoins.
something I think a lot of our listeners are probably interested in,
Absolutely.
especially as people get, a little more aware of what's going on in the crypto space and maybe a little nervous about the volatility
Yeah.
of Bitcoin and things like that. So
Yeah.
without further ado,
Yeah, let's jump right in.
why don't you tell us a little bit about stable coins and what makes them special?
Well, I think what's really fascinating about stablecoins is that they are sort of aiming to solve this problem of volatility that we see so prevalent in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
Right.
So with Bitcoin, the price can go up and down dramatically, and sometimes that's great for traders and speculators.
Sure.
But if you're just an average person who wants to use cryptocurrency as a means of payment,
Yeah.
all that volatility is not so good.
Right. It can be a problem.
So stablecoins try to address this issue by pegging their value to something that's more stable, like the US dollar. So they're kind of like a bridge between the traditional financial system and this new world of blockchain technology.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, you would think like, why are we bringing fiat currency into this new world?
Right.
But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, not everybody is a, day trader or, wants to be worried about the
Exactly.
value fluctuating so much.
Yeah, for everyday use, you need something stable, something
Mhm.
predictable.
Absolutely.
And that's where stablecoins come in.
Yeah. So I guess the big question then is, we kind of hinted at this earlier, but like, how are these stable coins actually, pegged to these real world assets?
Yeah.
How do they actually work?
So there are actually a few different ways that stablecoins achieve this stability.
Okay.
And I think that's what makes it so interesting.
All right.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
So let's break it down into, I guess, three main categories.
Okay, cool.
The first one is fiat-backed stablecoins. So as the name suggests, these are backed by reserves of fiat currency, like the US dollar.
So every stable coin represents like a dollar in a bank somewhere.
Exactly. For every stablecoin that's issued, there's an equivalent amount of fiat currency held in reserve,
Wow.
usually in bank accounts managed by the company that issued the stablecoin.
Gotcha.
And so this is why they're considered to be relatively stable, because theoretically,
Yeah.
you can always redeem your stablecoin for the underlying fiat currency.
Right. Right.
Some popular examples of fiat-backed stablecoins include Tether, which is often represented by the symbol USDT,
Okay.
and USD Coin or USDC.
Gotcha.
And these are probably the most common types of stablecoins that you'll encounter.
Okay. Well, that's simple enough to understand.
Yes, relatively straightforward.
1-to-1.
Yeah, one-to-one backing.
Perfect. Okay. So what's next?
So the second type is crypto-backed stablecoins.
Okay.
And this is where things get a bit more interesting.
Okay.
Instead of being backed by fiat currency,
Yeah.
these are backed by other cryptocurrencies.
Oh, it's a Bitcoin or something like that.
It could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, or even a combination of different cryptocurrencies.
Wow.
But here's the key difference. To ensure stability, they're typically over-collateralized.
What does that mean over collateralized?
So that means that the value of the cryptocurrency held as collateral is actually greater than the value of the stablecoins that are issued.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like a buffer.
Exactly. It's like a safety net.
Gotcha.
So let's say, for example, you want to borrow $100 worth of a stablecoin.
Yeah.
In a crypto-backed system, you might need to lock up maybe $150 worth of Ether as collateral,
Okay.
just as an example.
Gotcha.
And this over-collateralization helps to protect the stablecoin's value, even if the price of the underlying cryptocurrency fluctuates.
Wow. So even if Ether drops in price, there's still enough collateral to back the stablecoin.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Okay. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat mechanism.
Okay. So what about the third type? You mentioned there were 3.
Right. So the third type is where things get really interesting. These are called algorithmic stablecoins.
Algorithmic. Okay.
And as the name suggests, they rely on algorithms and smart contracts to maintain their peg to a particular asset like the US dollar.
Okay. So no actual reserves.
No actual reserves in this case.
Wow. That's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. It's a very different approach.
Okay. So how does that work then? If there's no reserves, how do they keep the price stable?
So it's a bit complex, but essentially the algorithm monitors the price of the stablecoin.
Yeah.
And if the price starts to deviate from its peg, let's say it starts to go above $1,
Uh-huh.
the algorithm will automatically adjust the supply of the stablecoin to bring the price back down.
Okay.
It might issue more stablecoins to increase supply and reduce the price, or it might buy back stablecoins to decrease supply and increase the price.
Wow, so it's constantly like self-correcting.
Exactly. It's like a self-balancing system.
But that sounds risky. Like, what if the algorithm fails?
That's a very valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why algorithmic stablecoins are often considered to be more experimental and potentially riskier than the other types.
Okay.
You know, if the algorithm doesn't function properly or if there's some kind of unforeseen market event, the stablecoin could lose its peg, and that could lead to significant losses for investors.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like high risk, high reward kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess that's the nature of a lot of things in the crypto space, right?
Absolutely. You know, innovation often comes with a certain level of risk.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about the different types of stablecoins.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger question that's probably on a lot of our listeners' minds is like, why should we care about stablecoins?
Right.
Like, what are the benefits of using them?
That's a great question. And there are actually a lot of potential benefits to using stablecoins,
Okay.
especially if you're involved in the crypto space or even if you're just curious about how this technology might impact the future of finance.
Sure.
So let's dive into some of these benefits. First and foremost, stablecoins offer a safe haven in a volatile market.
Okay, so if like Bitcoin is crashing, I can just swap my Bitcoin for stablecoins and not lose my shirt.
Exactly. You can ride out those storms without having to worry about your portfolio plummeting in value.
Gotcha.
And then when the market stabilizes, you can easily swap back into Bitcoin or whichever cryptocurrency you prefer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, stablecoins provide incredible liquidity within the crypto market.
Okay.
So let's say you see a dip in the price of Ethereum and you want to buy.
Yeah.
If you're using traditional banking methods, it might take days for your bank transfer to go through.
Right.
But with stablecoins, you can instantly swap your stablecoins for Ethereum and take advantage of that price dip.
Wow. So it's like having cash on hand, but in the crypto world.
Exactly. It's like having digital cash that's always ready to be deployed.
Okay, that's a huge advantage.
It really is. And then third, stablecoins can be used to earn passive income.
Tell me more about this.
So in the world of decentralized finance, or DeFi,
Yeah,
you can lend out your stablecoins to earn interest.
Oh, interesting.
Think of it like putting your money in a high-yield savings account, but potentially with higher returns.
Okay.
There are platforms like Afe and Compound that allow you to do this, and it's a really popular way for people to generate passive income with their crypto holdings.
Wow. So I can actually make my money work for me while it's just sitting there.
Exactly. Your money's not just idle, it's actively earning you more money.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And are there any other benefits? We've covered stability, liquidity, passive income. What else is there?
Well, those are some of the major ones, but there are also benefits in terms of diversification.
Okay.
So by holding stablecoins alongside your riskier crypto assets, you can create a more balanced portfolio and manage your overall risk.
That makes sense. It's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Diversification is key to any sound investment strategy.
Okay.
And then beyond the world of trading and investing, stablecoins also have the potential to revolutionize other areas of finance. Well, think about international remittances.
Okay.
Sending money across borders using traditional methods can be very expensive and time-consuming.
Yeah, it's a pain.
Right. But with stablecoins, you can potentially send money to someone on the other side of the world instantly and for a fraction of the cost.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
It is, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for people who rely on remittances to support their families.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then another area where stablecoins could have a big impact is microloans.
Microloans.
So small businesses in developing countries often struggle to get loans from traditional financial institutions.
Sure.
But stablecoin-based lending platforms could provide them with much-needed access to capital.
Okay, so it's kind of like cutting out the middleman.
In a way, yes. It's about democratizing access to financial services.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about the potential.
So as we kind of wrap things up here, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who might be thinking about dipping their toes into the stablecoin waters?
Sure. I think the most important thing is to always prioritize security.
Okay.
Choose reputable exchanges and wallets to store your stablecoins.
Yeah, don't just go with the first one you find.
Exactly. Do your research.
Okay.
Look into the team behind the project, their track record,
Yeah.
the transparency of their operations.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff. And remember, diversification is key.
Right.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread them out.
Spread them out.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the world of stablecoins. I feel like I learned a ton.
And they do. It's a constantly evolving space.
It is, and it seems like it has the potential to really like revolutionize a lot of things in finance.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners out there, keep an eye on stablecoins.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be an interesting ride.
it definitely is. And here's something to think about as we wrap up.
Okay.
Will we see a future where stablecoins are as common as credit cards?
Wow.
Seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives?
That's a good question.
Only time will tell, but it's certainly a possibility.
This is a very interesting thought. I think, the more we see things like, Apple Pay and Google Pay and, all these other,
Yeah.
ways to pay for things digitally.
Digital wallets are becoming increasingly popular.
Exactly.
So it's not a far-fetched idea to think that stablecoins could become part of that ecosystem.
Yeah, super interesting. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive.
It was my
I
pleasure.
really enjoyed this conversation. And for all of our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Bye.